Welcome back to CelebReel, the place where we break down the stories Hollywood hopes you never notice. And today, we've got a good one. Because D.L. Hughley just got checked by Katt Williams, and a couple more voices jumped in, and now the entire internet is losing its mind. Before we start, subscribe, like, and stay tuned. Big story ahead. This isn't just another comedian beef. This one goes deep. It's about power, influence, gatekeeping, and who's really running the new media era. And caught right in the center of the storm, Shannon Sharpe, the former NFL beast turned cultural powerhouse, the man people keep calling untouchable. And after what just went down between D.L. Hughley and Katt Williams, it's starting to look like they might be right.
Politics like that?
Nope.
It's not good for the country. Who does that? Yeah, your team got an offense and a defense. They not supposed to be enemies. The enemy is the other side.
Hicks.
Never talk about it. I'm not that controversial.
So here's how it all sparked off. D.L. Hughley, comedy legend, radio host, and self-proclaimed truth teller, decided to speak on Shannon Sharpe's show. And let's just say, he didn't hold back. He dropped one line that blew everything up online.
This is sad. We've never been here before. Be a movie star. There are 30,000 new scripts in Hollywood every year. Not one of them asks for a country bumpkin black dude that can't talk good over KB and look like Mr. Potato. Ever been at the point where neither option is good for us in real life?
No.
This is a different conversation. This is, would you rather go back with your ex or would you rather go back?
I ain't going on Club Shay Shay. That show's messy. Boom. One sentence, and every timeline caught on fire. Because everybody knows, Club Shay Shay isn't just a podcast anymore. It's a movement. It's where rappers, actors, comedians, and icons pull up to drop the real truth, unfiltered and unedited.
I had to come is because you made a safe place for the truth to be.
And DL poking at it? Yeah, that's where the drama begins. DL tried to clean it up by saying, "I'm an entertainer. If you want hard-hitting questions, 60 Minutes is the platform." And that line? Yeah, everyone caught the shade. Because 60 Minutes is where Katt Williams just dropped his nuclear interview. The one that sent shockwaves through Hollywood, had comedians whispering and execs sweating bullets. So when DL implied Shannon's show wasn't serious journalism, fans instantly saw it as a dig.
I thought it got to be too messy, and I said it out loud. I think for a while, Club Shay Shay was like Wendy Williams with a weight set. Like, this dude. I mean, it was messy. The reason that those people went on Club Shay Shay in its first iteration before it became successful is because we saw what he did, and the reason I was going to go on it is because we saw what Skip did to him.
Like he was calling Club Shay Shay messy, gossipy, and not on his level. And that's when Katt Williams stepped in, ready for war. If there's one man who never bites his tongue, never sugarcoats, never fakes a smile, it's Katt. When he heard DL downplaying Shannon's platform, he didn't just clap back, he scorched the earth.
I said any number of things about the way Skip sunned him.
Is that when he said, "Put your glasses back on" or something
that was
like that?
so horrible to me that I think a lot of people were determined to help this black man be successful because of what had happened to him. And to kind of curate all that have that place that they worked so hard for you to have so you would have your own space be just an amalgamation and curate all the bull that is happening in our community seemed insulting to me.
Right.
Katt basically said, Shannon Sharpe is untouchable. You don't disrespect a black man who built his own empire without begging Hollywood for approval. And that hit like thunder, because it touched the real nerve.
Initially, I was going to do it, and it kept my schedule. It just didn't work out, but I'm glad I did.
In this new media era, building your own lane is everything. And Shannon did exactly that. No gatekeepers, no Hollywood middlemen, just pure power. Shannon Sharpe walked away from polished studio lights, built a podcast from scratch, and turned it into the hottest stage in the culture. No Hollywood approval. No corporate babysitter. No middleman. Just work, vision, and unstoppable consistency. And to Katt Williams, that kind of independent grind is sacred. You don't play with it. You respect it. So when DL called Club Shay Shay messy, he wasn't just shading a podcast. He was low-key dismissing an entire movement built on ownership and truth-telling.
I don't be doing no fighting lately. You know, there's only one other option. If you don't fight, you do blank, 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 blank.
Now let's keep it honest. DL Hughley is a legend. He's paid dues, shaped comedy, and deserves his respect forever. But sometimes even the OGs forget the rules changed while they were still fighting yesterday's battles. This isn't the early 2000s anymore. This is the era of unfiltered conversations, viral clips, and platforms that don't need a TV network to dominate the room. And Shannon? He adapted faster than most. He doesn't just host interviews. He creates moments that hijack timelines and shift the culture's agenda.
Said I was a journalist. I never professed to be a journalist. I'm an entertainer. If you want hard-hitting questions, 60 Minutes is the platform.
When Katt came on and exposed Hollywood from top to bottom, that wasn't content. That was a cultural earthquake. Late-night TV went silent, while Club Shay Shay broke the internet. Shade was trending everywhere, and when a heavyweight like DL throws it, fans don't just see critique, they smell resentment. But look closer. This isn't just ego. It's a collision between legacy media and the new era of independent power. When DL called Club Shay Shay messy, what he really meant was Shannon's interviews cut too deep, too raw, too unfiltered, too dangerous for people who built their careers on polished, pre-approved sound bites. DL even said, "I don't want my words chopped up for clicks." And he's not wrong. That is how media works today. Clips go viral, context disappears, and one sentence can flip your reputation in 10 seconds. But here's the twist. That same system DL fears, it's the engine that keeps everyone else relevant. In today's digital jungle, silence doesn't protect you, it erases you. Playing it safe means fading into the background, while the bold voices run the narrative. So while DL is guarding his legacy, Katt Williams and the new wave are guarding their freedom. Katt said it perfectly. You can't call a man messy just because he gives people a voice. That hit deep, because what Shannon and Katt are doing isn't gossip. It's liberation through conversation. A space where people can finally talk without permission, without handlers, without Hollywood scripts. DL represents the old school, the era where every sentence was rehearsed and every interview was approved. Katt and this new generation, they're built different. Unfiltered, emotional, unapologetic, and loud about it. They're not begging for seats at the table. They're building their own table. And that's why Katt said Shannon Sharpe is untouchable. When you build something the system doesn't own, no one can unplug you. You can't cancel a man who owns the mic, and that's what's shaking the whole room right now. This isn't just a comedian spat. This is a cultural shift happening in real time. Shannon Sharpe went from NFL legend to media kingmaker, turning Club Shay Shay into the place where careers erupt, truth bombs drop, and Hollywood myths fall apart on camera. And when that kind of power lands in the hands of someone the industry didn't choose, best believe the old guard starts shredding. That's exactly what Katt Williams was calling out. He said, y'all spent decades begging for a seat at their table. Shannon built his own table, and now you're mad he didn't invite you first. Boom. That line shook the internet, because that's the whole divide right there. What DL calls messy, Katt calls revolutionary. And it's true. Shannon Sharpe's rise is almost cinematic. He could have stayed comfortable doing polished sports talk forever. Safe, corporate, predictable. But instead, he switched lanes and built something authentic. When he left Undisputed with Skip Bayless, people laughed. They swore his career was over. They thought he wasn't built for independent media. Then Club Shay Shay blew up. Not slowly, instantly. Overnight, it became the spot. Suddenly, the biggest names were lining up. Steve Harvey, Monique, Katt Williams, Denzel Washington. And every episode hit harder than the last. Shannon didn't just interview people. He changed the way interviews work. He let guests reclaim their stories, expose their pain, own their narrative, and that's real power. So when DL tried to brush it off and call it messy, fans weren't having it. Because Shannon's not chasing clicks, he's documenting the culture and giving a platform to voices the mainstream spent decades ignoring, including Katt Williams. That's sacred ground. That's legacy work. But now here's where things really get spicy. Because this ain't the first time DL Hughley's been accused of gatekeeping. He's had beefs all across the timeline for years. Remember when he went at Kanye West? Or when he clashed with Monique? He's even thrown shade at younger comedians and influencers trying to build their own lanes. It's like every time the culture evolves, DL pops up calling it messy instead of progress. And that's exactly why fans say Katt Williams checked him this time. Because when a guy like Katt, who's been fighting Hollywood's machine his entire career, steps up to defend someone, it's not gossip, it's principle. Tat broke it down plain and raw. Don't knock another black man for building his own lane, just because it ain't your lane. That's pure truth. No filter, no Hollywood politics. Just facts. Now let's be fair to DL for a second. He's not coming from hate. He's coming from fear. Because he's been in this game long enough to know how fast the internet can flip on you. He's seen careers crash overnight. He's seen reputations vanish over a single clip taken out of context. He's watched people get canceled because one 5-second soundbite went viral the wrong way. So when DL says he doesn't trust platforms like Club Shay Shay, what he's really saying is, I don't trust the internet with my words. And honestly, that's fair. The internet has no mercy. It will twist, crop, clip, remix, and replay your worst moment 1,000,000 times. But here's what DL might not realize. Shannon Sharpe isn't his enemy. Shannon is the evolution. And that's what makes this whole situation so powerful. This isn't just two comedians exchanging shots. This is two eras colliding. The old guard versus the new wave. Broadcast TV versus independent media. Gatekeepers versus creators who own their own mic. DL Hughley represents legacy, the polished suit and tie generation that built respectability through restraint. Katt Williams and Shannon Sharpe represent disruption, bold voices who refuse to be censored or controlled. And right now, disruption is running the show. Because in 2025, people don't want perfectly edited media anymore. They want something real. They want unfiltered emotion, raw confessions, uncomfortable truths, and heroes who speak straight from the soul. And Club Shay Shay delivers exactly that. No scripts, no filters, no fear. Just truth. And that kind of honesty makes the establishment nervous. Now let's talk about that phrase. Shannon Sharpe is untouchable. That's not just internet hype. That's earned. He built an empire powered by independence. No corporate leash, no Hollywood approval, no middleman. Just a mic, a vision, and millions of supporters who believe in him. That's real power. And that's exactly what threatens the old media system. Because you can't silence someone who doesn't rely on your backing in the first place. Shannon can speak freely without worrying about sponsors or executives pulling the plug. And that's why Katt Williams rides so hard for him. In an industry built on control, independence is rare gold. And here's the craziest part. Shannon never even dissed DL Hughley. He didn't clap back. didn't throw shade, didn't say a single bad word. But the moment DL called Club Shay Shay messy, the culture erupted. And in that blaze, Katt Williams made it crystal clear. The gatekeepers don't run this anymore. The new era doesn't wait for permission. It creates its own respect. Katt dropped one more gem that shut the whole debate down. The real ones ain't waiting for approval no more. We building our own networks now. And that right there is what's shaking Hollywood to its core. The system is finally realizing the new media wave isn't being led by the usual insiders. It's being built by people they can't control. Creators who don't need Hollywood's platforms, permission, or approval anymore. But here's the part nobody is really talking about. Shannon Sharpe doesn't just have fame, he has trust. When Shannon talks, people lean in. Not because he's perfect or polished, but because he's real. He's emotional, raw, unfiltered, and unafraid to show his flaws. In an industry built on plastic smiles and scripted answers, that's pure gold. Shannon doesn't play the Hollywood game. He rewrote it. He built a lane where honesty beats PR training, and where guests feel safe being human instead of rehearsed. That's why when DL called him messy, it completely backfired. He ended up exposing how out of touch some old school stars have become. People don't want manufactured moments anymore. They want authenticity, the truth, even when it's uncomfortable. And that's the secret behind Club Shay Shay. It's not about chaos. It's not about gossip. It's about real conversations. And that's exactly what today's audience craves. So yeah, Katt Williams checked DL Hughley, and the internet stood right behind him. Because deep down, everyone felt it. This wasn't about ego. This was about evolution. Shannon Sharpe is untouchable, not because he's flawless, but because he's fearless. He built something real, independent, and untamed. And that's the kind of power money can't buy. DL might represent the past. Shannon is the future. And Katt Williams, he's the bridge, the loud, unapologetic truth teller, reminding everyone what's real. Katt said it best. Stop talking down on the new wave just because you missed it. And honestly, that might be the realest thing Hollywood's heard all year. This is CelebReels, where we don't sugarcoat anything. We break it down raw, real, and straight to the point. Before you go, hit that like, subscribe, share, and drop your thoughts in the comments. Was D.I. Hughley right calling Club Shay Shay messy? Or is Katt right? Is Shannon Sharpe's platform untouchable because it's real? Either way, the new wave isn't waiting for permission. It's taking over. See you in the next one.